is this going to be Kyle Trask's job to win? Who would they be bringing in? Are they going to is it going to be Trask versus Gabbert? They're going to draft? Walk me through what they're thinking now that it's official. Brady's not coming through the door to play.
I mean, Rich, they're thinking, is Andrew Luck got any chance of coming out of retirement? I mean, really, it's, they will exhaust everything. Door number 2 is where Tom Brady walked through one time. Now there is no Tom Brady out there for them, unfortunately, and I think it's unrealistic to think that if Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay, that the Packers would trade him to Tampa. They didn't trade Brett Favre here; they traded him to the Jets instead. Same is probably true with Russell Wilson if, in fact, he were to leave. Do you go to the Texans, and how many draft picks would you have to package, and then hope that Deshaun Watson isn't going to get suspended? Jimmy Garoppolo is an agreement with the 49ers. Do you think he's salvageable? He's a winner, but he's been hurt. He says he wants to go to a winning team. I mean, there's only we all know the names, right? We all know the prospects, and there's so many teams, even in this division, except for maybe Atlanta, but maybe also Atlanta, looking for quarterbacks. And any team that were to trade you one would then be in that same market. So it's difficult. When they went through this before and they didn't know if they could get Tom, Clyde Christensen sat down, and at that time there were quarterbacks like Phillip Rivers was out there, and of course he played 1 year at the Colts. Teddy Bridgewater was the guy they were going to turn to next. He wound up going to Carolina because they got Brady, and then we saw him in Denver. You just don't know, what tier of quarterback are you able to pry out of another team. But I think they'll look for a veteran. I think, they don't probably believe that Trask is quite ready. They might like him more than some of the guys in the draft this year. But he had a redshirt season, and he didn't play at all. He was inactive every single game. Excuse me. And, I just think they don't know what they have there. They do know they have a pretty veteran team. They can retain some free agents. The South is wide open again. So, it's really wide open. And I mean that. They will look everywhere to try to find the best option.
Well, and the question is that if the option does come down to just deciding, what, I guess thinking within the building it's Trask's gig. Is that something Arians wants to do? What's the scoop with Bruce's future there, do you think?
Yeah, I've talked to Bruce a bunch, and I didn't know if it was rhetoric because he didn't know Tom's fate or not. Right now he's trying to rest at home. This Achilles thing was a nightmare for him at the end of the year. He's trying to avoid surgery because that's a whole nother rehab situation. He might need it. But he told me, with or without Brady, he was going to come back and coach. And, he'll be 70 in October. He gutted through the year, quite frankly, like his team playing hurt all season. But it looks like, Rich, he's going to get back Byron Leftwich. It looks like he's going to get back Todd Bowles. That makes life a lot easier for Bruce Arians. It really does. And, they've got a good football team. They need a quarterback like so many other teams. But, 7 of their 9 Pro Bowlers are still under contract. And they'll get some more of these free agents to come back, especially if Bowles and or Leftwich are here. They'll probably franchise Chris Godwin if they can't reach an agreement with him. So it's still a pretty good team, like I said, but for a few plays on defense and the injuries, with Tristan Wirfs really wiped them out. They got to get some offensive linemen. Ryan Jensen and Alex Kappa are free agents, but they may get one of those guys back. So all is not dark and gloomy. It'll never be as bright and shiny as it was with Brady. But they feel like they have a pretty good football team, and I think Bruce knows that, and I think he wants to coach again, and I think he will.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.